short sale situation, it's going to take a lot longer. And you have to tell your clients right from the outset that it's going to take longer. The numbers I've heard are, even though banks have gotten a lot better about it, you're looking at least 2 months. 2 months to close, and that's only with one lender. If there are multiple lenders, each lender has to approve the short sale, and that's going to take a lot more time. If there are counter offers, that's going to add time to the process. So in the best case scenario nowadays, you can close a deal if your documentation is perfect, if you have a really compelling hardship, that you can close in 30 days or less. That's rare. Usually nowadays it's 2 months or longer. If it takes a super long time, it may also be a pricing thing. So you have to consider that and advise your client that, look, it's going to take longer than normal. On the flip side, they may be getting a better deal. They may be getting the property for less than they might find a comparable price. So they may be willing to trade the time for the money, and that would be your call. Okay. The next thing you have to make sure your clients are aware of is that you need a lot more documentation. The first thing one of the things I said was a hardship letter. Lenders need a good reason for accepting the short sale. They frequently also want proof of your income and assets, like a P&L, a profit and loss statement, or a balance sheet if you have one, or can create one. Copies of your tax returns. When I say an income statement or a profit and loss statement or a balance sheet, I don't mean something that you necessarily have to hire a CPA to prepare. Something that is actually truthful, that you can prepare on your own, that says, here are my assets, here are my liabilities. You see, I'm insolvent. So that would be good. They frequently also want copies of your tax returns. They don't want people to lie to them. And then finally, a copy of the purchase contract and the listing agreement. That is also sometimes a misconception in short sale situations, that you go to the bank first and say, what's the price at which you will accept a short sale? No, that usually doesn't work. What the banks want to see is a purchase contract that is signed by both parties, by the seller and the buyer. And then the bank can say, all right, well, we have this listing. This is the agent, this is the broker. The broker's opinion is that in today's market, the fair market value for this property is X. Now, the purchase price, according to the purchase and sale agreement, is X plus or minus whatever. And it is the agent's opinion that that's valid, that's what the market will bear. And they will take that into account. So begin gathering your documentation early. You should, depending on who the lender is, each lender has different qualifications. And for a short sale, each lender has different processes that you have to go through, and each lender's time frames are different. And so the sheet that I gave you is from Bank of America, and this is sort of their time frame. You know, I'm not stumping for Bank of America at all, but this is what I got. I think it's a valuable tool. Now, if you are able to get in contact with the lender, and you do want to speak to an asset manager or a loss mitigation specialist at the bank, assuming you're able to submit all your documentation in a timely manner and it's complete, you have your listing agreement, you have your purchase agreement, you have your disclosures, and everything is sent to the lender, then the lender will take a look, and the lender will get back to you eventually. Now that's the rub right there. What is eventually? Again, it could be 2 months or longer. What the lenders now want for you to do is to have everything very cut and dry, so that all the lenders need to do is to think, if we say yes, this transaction is going to go forward and close. If we say no, transaction is not going to go forward. But in other words, if we say yes, there are no additional steps that need to be taken. So that, in other words, if you are representing a buyer as the selling agent, what you should ideally do is come in with all cash. That's not necessary. That's not necessary. If you have a full approval letter, then that'll be just as good. But cash is king, as they say. So cash is the best. Also, limit your contingencies. The more opportunities a buyer has for getting out of the deal, the less favorably the seller's going, the lender's going to look. Now, once you have all your documentation in order and you send it to the bank, you start waiting. A few more tips for those of you who are representing sellers. First of all, don't expect the short sale to solve your financial problems. If the short sale is approved, you're going to get out of a bad investment or a bad home, whatever the case may be for you, and the lender will waive the balance between what you paid and the fair market value. But it's not going to change your financial situation. The bank's not going to get you a job. You have to sign a promissory note for a part of the balance. In the situation I previously gave you, say that you purchased the property for $1 million, it's now worth $800,000, and you want to do a short sale. The bank may agree to cancel a portion of the $200,000 debt, but they may not cancel the entire thing. They may ask you for some contribution on the seller's part. Remember that in every short sale, the bank is taking a loss. They want the seller to share in the pain as well, to the extent that they can. They're not going to make the terms so onerous that you're going to have to declare bankruptcy. That's not their intent. However, they may want you to contribute. All right. Now, the fact that they may want you to contribute, in the short sales I've seen, the terms of a promissory note generally aren't that bad. It's generally a fraction of what you owe on the property. The interest rate is extremely low or zero, and they give you plenty of time to pay it. So, just so you know, they may ask you to sign a promissory note. You can negotiate the terms of the promissory note. All right. More tips for sellers. If you are in a short sale situation, chances are your property is already in distress, and you may have already received a notice of default from the bank. Chances are you have. A short sale or a foreclosure or a bankruptcy or anything where you're not living up to your obligations financially can hurt your credit score. A short sale does not hurt your credit score as much as a foreclosure, and a foreclosure does not hurt your credit score as much as a bankruptcy, but your credit score will be affected. Notice of default will mess with your credit score. So just so you know, a short sale is not the complete solution. Then finally, there are a lot of scams still floating around out there. I went to a seminar in which the keynote speaker was Jeff Davy, the DRE, the head of the DRE. And he said that the DRE is getting much better about trying to stamp out unscrupulous people who are trying to advertise letting people keep their homes, but are really scamming people. So there are a few common scams to avoid. They're becoming less and less common because the public is becoming more wary. A few of them are don't pay the bank or don't communicate with the bank. If you're able to pay your lender, that's the best because your credit score will not decrease. If you don't communicate with your lender, then they're going to have no idea that you want to do a short sale or that your circumstances have changed. Don't pay an upfront fee to an agency that purportedly will help you. Any agency that charges you an upfront fee, that's illegal. All right, they can only charge you on the back end and only after they've accounted for all the services they've done for you. Okay. Avoid companies that guarantee you a result. If they say, I guarantee you that you will be able to keep your home, pay me $1,000, and they're just going to take $1,000. All right. Another thing is don't transfer title. Sometimes they'll say, transfer title to us, we'll pay the mortgage, and then when you're back on your feet, we'll sell it. They're just going to take the title and sell it to somebody else. That's a scam. And another tip, As agents, you know, you should be familiar with all the